I mean, it's not much of a secret, okay? I could have easily become one of these cases. One of the cases of the people who died, one of the cases of the people who got raped, one of the cases of the people who got killed or committed suicide or just went insane and ended up in a psychiatric hospital. I could have become one of those people very easily. I'm looking at the data now of a 12% average annual increase in occult-linked ER visits in the United States of America between 1992 and 2024. 3.5 times rise in psychosis linked to magical thinking. 3.5 times between 1992 and 2024. Psychosis, leading to hospitalization. 78% of cases involve unsupervised spell work. Now, specifically for the 2024 statistics, there were 14,228 hospitalizations in the US, the UK, and the EU in 2024 alone. Now, it's split between about 1/3 paranormal investigators and 62% ritual practitioners. But that's still 14,228 people in 1 year too many. We've got to work out why the bodies are falling in the river. We got to go upstream. And I look at my case, and I look at the case of other people I've seen, and I look at people's life histories and how they've been influenced, and I know full well that there is a cause. But the cause is based upon something. You know, it's a stone in the road. Alphonse Louis Constance spoke about the stones in the road, and the orientation of the stones in the road could affect a person's destiny. He wasn't talking about a road. He was talking about your life and the memorable moments happening which changes your trajectory. These people have had their trajectories changed. What was the memorable moment in their life? Well, I can tell you what it was for me. What it was for me, which could have easily turned me into one of those statistics, and damn nearly did. What it was for me that nearly turned me into one of those who could have got, you know, raped or murdered or died of suicide or misadventure. What it was for me, who, as a result of needing to try and find a cure for his diseases and dedicate himself to the study of magic because he's promised that it will work, what was it for me was someone saying this, and I'm going to tell you straight out. I used to believe it was just psychological, now I know it works. That's all he had to say to me. And that led me on this path, which eventually led me to be here as Nick Dutch. But it also led me into psychosis for many years. It led into my addiction problem. The psychosis I was given by the pagan and magical experiences and time there could have killed me. And I was very close to death in 2003. So therefore, I'm actually someone who could easily have been one of these cases. One of the cases of the people who've died because of magic, witchcraft, and occultism and paganism. But it's only because of one thing. Language. Now, if the language is changed, then you don't have to have 14,228 people in hospital. If the language is changed, you don't have to have a rise in occult-related ER visits over 30 years. You don't have to have a 3.5 times increase in psychosis brought about by magical thinking. You don't have to have this. You don't have to have the suicide. You don't have to have the murders. You don't have to have all this stuff. 100% preventable. And it's preventable on the basis that you develop a culture of people who are brave enough to tell the truth and say, no, magic doesn't work. There is no result which is specific, time-bound, measurable, reliable, and repeatable from any form of magic at all, under any circumstances, and this is a damned out-and-out lie, and you will stop selling your religious creed of magic works and it works as if it is fact, because you are harming people, and you are stimulating the culture which is putting people in hospital and to death. You are encouraging this culture. You are encouraging this result. You are encouraging this karma, this cause and effect. The cause and effect. All you have to do is be in a pub sometime with your pentagram round your neck and say, magic works. That's all you've got to do. And it could take days, could take weeks, could take decades. But that person will end up in hospital that person will end up mad, that person could end up sick, that person could end up dead. And even if they do become good and you get involved in environmental activities and get involved in political action for social justice and get involved in helping the homeless and all the rest of that, but they still say magic works. The power of prayer works. It works. They use the word works at all associated with anything even remotely spiritual. That's what they're doing. You are creating the psychological environment whereby people will end up in hospital. So when I say the phrase, blood is on the hands of anyone who says magic works, I'm not lying. The evidence is there. The increase is there. The culture we have to be in is one in which we turn around to people and we say, no, you can't say that anymore. This is wrong. My instruction to you is to go into your religious groups, and when someone says the power of prayer works, turn around to them and say, no, it doesn't, and do so loudly. When you're in your home groups and you're hearing people coming out with all this ridiculous stuff, pull them aside. Talk to them like a friend. Tell them what's wrong in the world. Then tell them that they're making it happen. Tell them this. When you go into your pagan groups, say, yeah, magic works. Tell them off. Tell them off most severely. Create a culture whereby we have thought and reason. Look, those 14,228 hospitalizations would not have happened if they had the thinking in this book as opposed to all the other ones available in the magical world. Available on lulu.com right now by Nick Dutch. And there'll be more books coming. Now, it may take decades or centuries, but I do hope that some sensible people will start to raise a quiet army of decent people, nice people, deists, and deists who are capable of getting involved in the occult world, the magical world, and the pagan world, and the Christian world, and challenging these dangerous words. This culture which we've got right now is wrong. You are wrong. And this must end. This must end now. No longer magic works. No longer the power of prayer works. No longer it works. Change your ways. Because the blood which is dripping from your fingers will never be washed off unless your entire culture stops saying magic works. It works. The power of prayer works. You're responsible for atrocities right now. Directly responsible. You have caused this. It just takes a few words mentioned in a pub. You feel good when you say to someone, oh yeah, magic works. You feel good. But you don't know who's listening. And you don't know what damage you're doing. And you're too fucking irresponsible and too fucking thick to understand the meanings of the words you use, including those people out there who say they understand words of power. I deplore you. 14,228 hospitalizations in 1 year. And you, personally, are part of this. Because you're encouraging magic works, it works, the power of prayer works. That's culture. Present in Christianity, paganism, witchcraft, everything. That is wrong. And that is what causes hospitalizations, that's what causes psychosis, that's what causes death. I'll not stand for it and I'll not be a part of it. 17 years on this channel, I've not turned around to you and said magic works. 17 years on this channel, I've not turned around to you and said magic works. Because it is wrong. It is evil, and there is human suffering as a result of it. Nick Dutch out.